Today I am assembling a mousse cake in the Silicone Nutcracker Bûche de Noël mold. This one has a double insert, a tangy raspberry jelly and a smooth raspberry mousse, adding a bright fresh layer of flavor. They sit inside the dark chocolate and cherry mousse, which bring depth and touch of bitterness to balance the fruit. At the bottom is a dark chocolate and cocoa nibs crunch base for texture. Crisp, slightly roasted and rich. The cake is finished with a red velvet coating and topped with a Swiss meringue. The meringue helps cover small imperfection from the mold, but it also adds a nice soft look, a bit like a white stage drapes, tying back to the Nutcracker ballet theme. This mold is a bit tricky to work with. It's actually my first time assembling a cake in it. At the end of the video I will share my thoughts how it handles and some tips for working with it. Cherry dark chocolate mousse. This mousse is perfect for assembling your Entremet cake using inserts. Today I'm going to use another silicone mold. This one is going to be a little bit tricky, but I do like the design. Make sure that you've prepared your inserts, because this mousse is going to set quite fast, so you don't have lots of time. So make sure you have your sponge layers are prepared and frozen insert also prepared and unmolded. As for the recipe, I've got here cherries. You can use cherry puree if you have it. I don't have it, so this is just a frozen cherries that was defrosted. Difficult to blitz it small amounts, so just use a small jug. And here I'm going to add some cherry brandy and thickened cream, so this amount would be easier to blitz. Then I'm going to add sugar and put this all in a saucepan and bring to a simmer, so it's approximately 80 degrees Celsius. This hot mixture then goes on top of my dark chocolate, and today I'm going to use 63% dark chocolate. You can use any chocolate that is 60 to 65%, that would be perfect. After making ganache with the hot liquid, I'm going to add room temperature butter and proceed with the stick blender for another 20 seconds. Then I'm going to cool it down to approximately 25-28 degrees and I hold in my semi-whipped cream. How to work with the Nutcracker silicone mold. This one is quite tricky. It's quite tall. It is taller than any other Bûche de Noël molds that I've seen from the Silicone. And it also very narrow in a feet part and it's a bit narrow at the top. So it's not every insert can be used. For example, the standard one for the usual series of Bûche de Noëls, basically you can use just a smaller one. This will allows you to put it inside, but if you would like to use a double insert using the wider part, it would not fit properly. It will basically stretch this mold a little bit, which is not too bad as you can see in the video, but it's also not perfect. Another mold that I found as the insert is this one, quite plain. You can use it as a Bûche de Noël itself, just a smaller version, but you cannot put it inside like this. it should be just under the angles, so you can assemble your bûche de Noël if you put this on this side, and that would be your angle of the insert. Another tricky part of the mold is the feet. I found it's quite narrow, so basically when you're going to unmold, you can break it, as I did it. I was using this mold first time, so maybe as an idea I will try to unmold next time from the feet and then going up to the head. In this case I might avoid breaking the feet of the nutcracker, or potentially I would need to use a firmer mousse, so it would be easier to unmold. It also cannot be very thick mousse, otherwise you will have lots of gaps between the fine lines inside. I probably am going to try a few more times to figure out what is the best way how you can use it. But I love the design and it looks very cool, and all imperfection you can hide with the decoration. You can use a Swiss meringue or you can use a whipped cream chantilly. If you have any ideas or suggestions, make sure to leave a comment under this video.